You've spoken before about one of your key challenges is restoring trust with your customers. How important is that for you, trust?
Trust is massively important. One of the first things I did when I became CEO, and I'd like to think one of my best decisions, was to add a third plank to our strategy, which is social license. So we already had growth and transformation, but I deliberately added social license to send a message internally and externally about the importance of how the community views us. And trust is integral to that. If you think about everything that we need to do, from the very basics of, will you trust me to make sure your lights stay on, all the way through to, will you trust me to build a new source of generation next door or down the road and manage energy and bring energy into the system in a way that's good for the environment but also good for you as the customer. We can't do anything without trust. When you lose trust, that's when you start to get things like government entering heavily into your industry, starting to re-regulate, starting to direct prices, starting to even build up against you. So that's when trust is starting to erode in the community. That's when you start to see all sorts of commissions of inquiry and all sorts of extra regulation coming along. Those things are outward symptoms of a loss of trust because the community is saying, we don't think in the natural course that you'll necessarily do everything that we want you to do, so we're going to impose more rules and oversight. At the other end, we're looking all the time to build new things. So one of the reasons I love AGL is we're a company that does stuff. We don't just talk about things, we don't just suggest that others do things, we get out there and we build stuff. You know, historically we've been the biggest developer of renewable energy, we're the biggest generator in the market, we're leaning into things like storage. We're doing lots of things where we're physically building things. And to physically build something, you've got to be trusted by the local community. You've got to be trusted that it's the right thing to do in the first place, what you're building makes sense and it's good for the community. And also the way you go about constructing and then running that plant, whatever it is, whether it's a wind farm, solar farm, gas import jetty, you name it, you've got to be trusted by that local community to do the right thing. If we're trusted, everything becomes easier, and that allows us to get on and do the things that the community needs doing, which then means that our business, which is ultimately serving that need in the community, becomes easier and more effective as well.